some very unusual situations, which I enjoy. And a lot of Zerglings. I'm sure they've been upgraded with faster attack speed to be cracklings now. The first Zerg expansion's been spotted and taken out by the Terran player, so both players on 2 bases. And when you're in a situation like this, I'd usually give the advantage to the Terran player, because Terrans seem to be able to do a lot more with 2 bases than Zergs are able to, although it is not a lot more. It's still fairly close, and we've got a lot of lurkers going down now, so that'll deal with the Terrans and Marines. Still doesn't bother with that command center. I really don't know why he hasn't learned his lesson and just repaired it a little bit. It only takes 1 SCV, not very much resources at all to do that. Going for double starport if you saw that, and I think he really needs to do that because he'll be facing a lot of hive units before long. A lot of Zerglings out on the ground now, and if he just moves them in all at once, and Dark Swarm going down now, so these Marines look like they're in a lot of trouble. The Lurker's giving chase, and I think he needs to be really quick on his micromanagement, and yeah, sniping that Defiler. So good move there by TheShow, sniping the Defiler, but so many Zerglings, he doesn't even need that Defiler in my opinion, just to surround here, and yeah, not the best micromanagement at that point. Maybe he was checking the space or something, and he didn't really do very much healing. So all of the Marines are down, and those medics are going to be dead before too long as well, and we've got in response some Firebats, which are useful under Swarm, but not against Lurkers. So have to give the game advantage to Slayer at the moment. The Zerg player here, now going for a mineral-only expansion. I really would prefer him to get a gas expansion because he's tech to hive and he needs gas for all of those hive units. And the mineral-only expansion is slightly safer, but he doesn't really need to go for safety at this point. He's in control of the game, he's got better units, and all that TheShow is sending out after him is just ragtag sort of marine armies, which you can easily kill with lurkers. So I'd really be, if I were him, I'd be going for more gas expansions, maybe even taking the 12 o'clock or the 6 o'clock, because he can afford to. He seems to be building a lot of Zerglings, so he can actually take these Marines out with the support of lurkers, no worries. Dark Swarm going down now, and the, yeah, he'll have got lurkers coming in, and easily enough to protect that hatchery. And there's just too many Zerg forces here, and Terran forces just keep getting split up. We've got 5 ats, but really, what is he trying to achieve here? He's just running around, taking different targets every time, not really committing fully. You've got another pack of Marines there which weren't following up, so not really enjoying this play by TheShow. I think both of these players seem like they're reasonably competent. This is not like a top-tier game. It's not like the finals games that I was just recently casting on. These are just 2 TSL competitors who aren't in the top, quite top tier of the foreign scene, I think. And we're seeing some decent micromanagement from them, but not flawless. I guess both players are under a lot of pressure in this point of the game with the weird situation going on. I think that might be it. I mean, both of these players have to think a little bit more carefully, since neither players are really sort of in a cookie cutter situation. So that could be sort of playing with their heads a bit more, trying to have to think and use a little bit of strategy to sort of come up with the best way of playing this. Defiler now, and we've got 2 vessels out, and they should be irradiating that Defiler. It's just wide open. Now got a Dark Swarm going down, so disappointing that the Defiler wasn't taken out first. And Zergling's now attacking the command center again. Maybe we'll see another Queen coming in. But TheShow is really going to have to repair that command center fairly quickly. And now we've got the Irradiates coming in. But the Irradiates are going on the Lurkers and not the Defiler, so that's really disappointing again. Defiler's wide open. The Defiler costs a lot more gas than the Lurkers do, and it's a lot more dangerous than a single Lurker. So, yeah, just really disappointed with his use of vessels there. Could be achieving a lot more, and I think that might be punishing him later on when he's overwhelmed by Dark Swarms. He'll really be hitting himself that he didn't get in quicker and irradiate those Defilers. Now got an expansion down the bottom right for TheShow, and expansion the 6 o'clock position, which I am happy about for the for TSL Slayer. Ultralisk having going now, so TheShow is going to be in real trouble after Ultralisk start coming up, because he's really not being able to build up a large amount of troops or resources to deal with this. And at the moment, Slayer is only using Zerglings, and Zerglings seems to be all he needs to take out these forces of TheShow, with a couple of lurkers coming in to help. But really isn't having to spend very much in order to stop these attacks. And The show is not doing a very good job at taking out, say, expansions. I know that Slayer's only got one, and that's down the 6 o'clock position. Looks like these vessels are getting into position for a irradiate eraser trick, double irradiate on each of the vessels. And this could be quite good. The Slayer hasn't spotted this, or he hasn't bothered to move the drones around, which is again a little bit disappointing. Every single drone on minerals being taken out, so that will help the Terran player a little bit. This must have been what was happening in the meantime, just getting in position there. Saw a few Scourges die to missile turrets. Luckily he did take out the Defiler in time at that point, so he's actually quite safe from those lurkers. Tanks now pounding, but I think what happened just there is, yeah, we moved the vessel away from the lurkers, no longer actually sighting the lurkers, and that tank, although it was in range, can't actually keep shelling the lurkers because the vessels moved away, so just a little bit of a subtle mistake there by the show. You probably could have played that a bit better. Instead, sieging the tanks up and unsieging them and moving them out by the looks. And that's the trick. If you unsiege your tanks and move them to just shoot, sometimes they get hit by the lurkers, so it's not as good as sieging in cases like this where you're safe. But we've got Ultralisks arriving now, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do very much to stay in this game unless he gets that large group of... Oh my god, Scourge is arriving, and oh, that's terrible. Scourge is arriving in mass and just crushing a whole lot of science vessels, and he really needed those because he needed to irradiate every single Ultralisk that he can. There's one Defiler being irradiated, but yeah, just not doing a very good job with these science vessels, I feel. If he had gone out there with all of those science vessels before the Scourges had showed up and just irradiated every single Defiler that he could, that would have been much better for him. He moved some Firebats in there to take out the Lurkers desperately, but Lurkers are much better than Firebats, so Firebats dead. We've got an expansion sneak down at the bottom right, which the Zerg player hasn't taken out, but Zerg player, the Slayer, is in such a good position here that all he needs to do is spot that one expansion and the expansion is dead. He doesn't really have to worry too much. Ultralisks coming in now. They haven't been speed upgraded, but Swarm's going down now. I really feel that this is going to be catastrophic for our friend the Terran player. The show, and irradiate on your Defilers when they're... your Ultralisks when they're attacking is just bad news when you're defending with Marines, because the irradiate will hurt your Marines as well as the Ultralisks. Yeah, 4 bases still for Zerg player, so this does not look good for the show. In fact, I think we are going to be seeing a victory here for Slayer. I've got to say at this point that I enjoyed the first half of this replay much more than I'm enjoying the second half, because the Infested Terrans and the Queens and stuff, that was awesome, and the Zergling Rush, that was really cool, but I felt like we followed that up with some fairly incompetent play for the second half of this game, and it's turned to be a bit of a one-sided match. You can see a lurker in among the SCVs, and he actually brought in a whole pile of SCVs. That lurker got about 9 kills. Yeah, so just not really happy with the Terran play overall here. We've got more Ultralisks coming soon. They'll be speed upgraded. We've got plenty of Zerglings, so Ultraling, and there's just not too much that Terran player can do. He's just too under-resourced, and he's too slow with using his science vessel, to get some irradiates going. Yeah, this could be it. We've got a whole another wave of Zerg attacks coming, and this is not going to give the Terran player any room to go and counterattack any expansions, even still using lurkers just to get some more kills. Yeah, as I was saying, just enjoyed the first half of this replay a lot more. In hindsight, now that the replay's nearly finished, unless something extremely interesting happens, I've got to say that I actually enjoyed SSBT and G5 Media a lot more than this replay. I know that this one's been picked as number 1, and I guess because of the Infested Terrans, but I don't really think it deserved to be number 1. It's a great game, and I really enjoyed watching, and I especially loved the first half, but I don't think this is the best game that I've ever seen, sorry. Just a lot of incompetent plays by the Terran player, and not exactly perfect play from the Zerg player either. But this looks to be it. I don't know how he can come back from this, honestly. He's still staying in the game. He's building Firebats. But when you've got Ultralisks in your base and you're not irradiating them, I guess he's out of energy or something like that. Maybe they're just having some trash talk or something. Who knows? Lifted off the command center. Yeah, so guys, I'm just going to be wrapping this up fairly shortly. We can see that the show is going to be leaving before long. There's nothing really can do at this stage. as soon as Zerg Player scouts that bottom right expansion, it's just going to be all over. There's nothing that he can do. So thanks for watching another TSL game. We've been listening to Vol. This has been TSL Slayer versus TheShow. This replay made it to #1 for the top weekly replays, and next week we'll be having another top 10 as far as I understand. That's what I read anyway, and I will also be commenting some of the top replays from that one. Yeah, so thanks for watching. This has been another game from the TSL. Hope you enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, not as much as I think I could have, but there you have it. This is Vol.